I wish Paul would have come and talked to me before he wrote the article. He did not even give me the chance to give my side of the story. But I do want to respond to what he wrote about me flipping off the bystanders in the office. Yes, I did come out of the boardroom, out of executive session, and I did slam the door, which I do apologize. I should not have done that. I was very upset at that point. When I slammed that door, and I'm going to show you my hand, I got my finger caught in the door, and I should have got my finger caught because that wasn't a professional thing to do. And I mashed my finger. And as I walked out, I just put my hand in the air. I did not flip anyone in this office off. If I have something to say to someone, I'm going to come to your face and I'm going to say it to you. And we're going to do it as adults, not as little children. And to me, that's a childish way to act. Like I said, I wish Paul would have given me the courtesy of speaking to me about it before he wrote what he wrote. I don't think that was a fair assumption. I know as I was walking out the door, there was some things said about, oh, she was fired. No, I wasn't fired. But I will not go into that any further also because that is done behind closed doors, and that's where it's supposed to stay. That's between my board and myself, and Margot, she was also in there. So that's not supposed to be something that's brought out into public. So that's really all I want to go on that. But I do, if I offended someone, I will apologize, but I do want the people that were in this room at that time to know that was not meant to any of you. I should have been doing it to myself for my conduct that I acted as coming out that door and slamming it. So, like I said, I do apologize for that. Joy, too, was the administrator at that time, and she's the one that got this all started. Well, at that time, they had an A and a B corporation. The people, and I don't know if, let's talk some rules about this. A board consists of a president, a vice president, and it's a sitting of 5. The B corporation is a setting of 7. There's lots of scuttlebutt that the money is going to be used for personal gain. I can guarantee that that's not going to happen. That money will be used to better the town, and that's what we want to do. And we hope that all of the scuttle and stuff around town will come to a stop. I mean, if you have a question, if you don't understand, if you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. We have a mayor, Chuck Brandenburg. If he can't answer it, Margot Magnus has been here longer than I have, and she's a very honest person, and she will not lead you wrong. She will give you any answer that you might want that is the right answer. But we do have publications that you can come in and look at. We'll pull them for you. You just ask for them. We will pull it out and let you look at it. But please understand that this was done because no one could be on the same page. And you have to have people on the same page to make things good happen for your town. So as for the EDC, that's about all I can say. I don't know what else I could bring to the table that would help anyone understand what's going on.
What's your answer to what's been said in terms of Gerry put a stop to the EDC because the EDC didn't want to pay for the new gas meter, and so since then it was a vendetta, and now you wanted to get rid of the EDC?
I would like to answer that, yes. I have no problem with them not paying for the gas meter, and it wasn't them paying for it. We asked if they would like to help pay for it. Due to that is also infrastructure. When there was such a argument over it, I told them that's fine. The city has the money. We will pay for it. I was, back. I don't have a problem with us paying for things, but when you have that kind of money just sitting there, that could possibly keep our children from getting poison over there at the school from gas fumes, and that gas meter that was there had been in there for over 40 years. There was no repairing it. It had to be a new gas meter. The school, do people realize that you pay the gas and water bills at the school with your tax money? That's what pays it. Well, they were paying big gas bills because of that meter being so old, and they had leaks on their side. When I went in and redid this meter, I put new piping on their side also. And at that point now, we can catch the new school coming in has new gas line on their side, which should have been paid for by the school, but the city paid for it to make sure our kids and our teachers and people over there are safe. I could care less if the EDC wanted to pay for it. That was just an option. I don't hold any grudges to anyone. And as for me taking over the EDC, my position for the EDC, I would like to read you what my position for the EDC is. I've had several people on the board before the board that just came in would tell me I had no position in there. I was not even supposed to sit in on an EDC board meeting. But this is in the original bylaws and articles of incorporation for the city of Grand Falls. Under Article 4, Functional Corporation Duties and Requirements, Section 1, Chief Administrative Officer. The city administrator or his or her designee shall be the Chief Administrative Officer of the corporation and be in general charge of the properties and affairs of the corporation. Shall administer all work orders, requisitions for payment, purchase orders, contract administration, oversight, and other instruments or activities as prescribed by the board in the name of the corporation. The city administrator shall employ such full or part-time employees as needed to carry out the programs of the board. These employees should be employees of the city and perform those duties as are assigned to them. These employees shall be compensated as prescribed in Article 3, Section 8 of these bylaws. The city administrator shall have the authority and subject to provisions of the city charter and policies, procedures of the city to hire, discharge, direct, and control the work as functionally appropriated of such employees. In other words, what this is saying is if I send my guys out here to work in the park and help when we were building the park, the EDC should have paid their wages. But we didn't do that. We worked as a group, as a team. That's my thing right there. That's the word everybody needs to learn. It's a team. It's not I. You can't be an I in that boardroom as a council person. You have to be a team member. You have to be a team player. You have to back your city administrator and your city employees. You have to come and you have to talk to them before you go into a boardroom to tear them apart. This is something I have begged and pleaded with board members in there. If there is a problem with me or with what work we're doing, come to my office, sit down and talk to me. If we can't handle it or can't fix it, then let's go to the boardroom. Let's not trash everybody out in public. That's not going to help anyone, and it's sure not going to help the city of Grand Falls. So, as for me taking over the EDC board, I didn't want to be there, but this is my duty as a city administrator. It's right here in black and white. I did not write these articles. These articles were written, signed, and approved by Robert Vasquez, Laura Burnett, Jeannie Crawford, Ed Q, Paula Francisco, Don Howell, and Jeannie Crawford. I did not put my name on these. I did not sign them. These have all been sent in to the comptroller. They are stamped with official stamping. So it's not something that I sat here and dreamed up or I sat here and typed up. This was all done September 20th of 2000. They were filed in the office of the Secretary of State at that time. So I don't know how else to answer that question. You know, I have tried to rewrite the articles and the bylaws, and it would have pulled me out of this situation because I do have enough to run the city to work out in the city and do what I have to do without having to do this also. I would have been a part of it to help out, but they didn't want to go with the new bylaws and articles. They wanted to wait. Well, that means you have to go with what's on paper. You don't just make them up as you come along. Ms. Crawford, in her interview, stated that she would like to see a lot looser regulations on the speaking in the boardroom during city council meetings. I'm sure that many people in Monahans remember back many, many, many years ago that our board meetings used to last 4 and 5 hours and sometimes move to the next day. Well, that's really illegal. And as for the speaking, there are laws that promote how long a citizen is supposed to be able to speak at a board meeting, and it's 3 minutes on a topic that is on the agenda. You're not supposed to be able just to come in and talk whenever you want to. That's why in our rules and procedures of the city of Grand Falls, it lists that we will post the agenda on a Tuesday before our meeting on the following Tuesday. That gives a citizen time enough to come in our office, look at the agenda, see what's on there, make sure it's not something you want to speak on. If you want to speak on, all you have to do is say, hey, I want to speak on topic on number 7 of the agenda. It's not a problem. We'll put you down. You're allowed 3 minutes unless the board decides that what you're talking and saying they want to hear more of, then they can let you speak longer. Yes, we only post the agenda in our office because due to vandalism in the post office, we have put things up, very important notices that have been shredded, or people have gone in there and written obscene things on them. And it's, if that's going to happen, we don't need to spend our time running down there posting stuff in the post office. So our agenda is always posted at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, the Tuesday before the meeting on the following Tuesday. Even if you call us, if you don't have time to come down here, call us. We'll read you the agenda. It's not a big deal. Then if you want to speak, you do have to come to the office. You have to fill out a speaking form. And that's not only in Grand Falls. I believe that's everywhere. I don't think you could go to Monahans and just walk in on their city council meeting and just start talking. I don't think that's allowed. And in the past, it has been allowed, and it has really turned into quite a circus at many of the board meetings. That's what we try to keep from happening here. So, that's one thing. And if the board decides that they want to change the way things are done in the boardroom, that is up to the board. That's not up to the city administrator or any of my people outside of the boardroom. So then I would like to also address Ms. Crawford speaking about us being over budgeted. I really don't know where she gets that from. We have been audited for the last 7 years and have been given a good audit every year. There is one thing in here I know that was spoke about, $118,000 over budgeted or overspending. Well, in our budget, there's an excess revenue over expenses. We were over in revenue $118,270. In other words, we had more revenue than we did expenses for this certain, which is right here. So we have, yes, our auditor came in and she said we need to kind of watch what we're spending, but prices have gone up for things we have to buy, but we haven't gone up for what we're charging our customers. So, it's going to cost us more to run the city than what we're bringing in. I just noticed buying the chemicals that we have to have for our sewer ponds and the chlorine for our tanks to keep the water safe to drink has went up more than what we were paying last year. So, I don't have a control over that, but I do want everyone to know we are not over budgeted. We are not in the red anywhere. We have been given very good graded on our accounting when they have come in to audit us. And I will guarantee that if there is something going on that is illegal in this office, this accountant will find it, because she doesn't only question myself and Margot, she questions people that walks through that door. So, you know, she goes over every little thing, and she'll call and give us a list of things she wants us to pull. But when she gets here, she don't want to look at those. She goes back and makes Margot pull other things that we wouldn't have time to even go through and fix if there was something wrong with it. So that's why we make sure everything has a paper trail. There's not one thing in this office that does not have a paper. The city had been nearly 5 years without anything done, any kind of accounting done, till Margot came on board. And then she found Mr. I'm sorry, right at this moment I can't tell you his name, but he was with the Certified Public Accountants in Alpine. And they have been very, very good. They keep us on our toes. We have to send them a report every month. Margot sends everything we spend, or it comes into this office. They get a copy of it the same day that we get it, they get it. So they know exactly what we're spending and what we're bringing in and what we're spending the money for. So Ms. Crawford, I just want you to know that if you would have come in and looked at what I have, if you would have looked at these, and I can pull them for the last 7 years, I can show you that we are not over budgeted. As for overspending, one of the things I was graded on in one of my evaluations was not having proper equipment to run the city. So I took that as meaning you need to make sure you have the right equipment for us to be working with. So if I have to go out and buy tools, I'm going to go out and buy the tools that we need. And some of the tools you get nowadays won't last at all. I know we just got the 2 new trucks, and I just had to put 4 new tires on this truck that I'm driving. I was coming from Monahans and blew a tire. I called the place where we bought the trucks because I was under the assumption that those tires should be under warranty. But come to find out, the city, when we purchased the trucks, we did not, Mr. Sean Crawford made the deal for the trucks. We did not get we did not get the tire replacement with it. So those were not very good tires. I took them over, and we did keep the ones that we took off. We're going to try to use them on trailers or whatever else we might need to use them on. But Ms. Crawford, if you'll come see me, and I can maybe answer some different questions for you, I would not mind. But please, before you say that we are over budgeted or anything like that, please, please, please know what you're talking about. Because we have everything in our office to prove that our budget is right on track. The next thing I would like that came from Ms. Crawford was she wanted to see the city run by the city council. My answer to that is, if the city needs to be run by the city council, or if the city needs to be run by the citizens, which I've heard that a lot, then why does the city hire, why do we have a council? Why do we have an administrator? Why do we have a city secretary that does the paperwork and the billing and all that? Why do we have people out here like Bobby Cannon and John Ramirez? Why do we have them out there working so hard? Why aren't the citizens out there doing it? That's my question. If that's how it's supposed to be done, why is the city being run with all these people instead of just the regular citizens out there doing the work, instead of us out there doing the work? So, that's another thing, Ms. Crawford, I would like to ask you about. Why do we have this if that's the way y'all want it ran? Or if the city council can run it, why are they not in the office every day doing the office work, or out there in the in the system getting trained to be operators, to run a backhoe, to work in the gas system, work in the water system, to dig the holes, to work on the broken pipes. You know, if the city council can do that, then let's let the city council do that. You wouldn't have to pay the people that you're paying to do this work. So that's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. So we can continue to work as a group, as a team that we do. The four of us do work as a good team, or we can, whatever the city council decides, let all four of us go and let the council members run the city. Let them do the work, let them take over. You know, that's how I feel about it. So, my next person I'd like to address is Mr. Vasquez, Robert Vasquez. He's running for city council. Mr. Vasquez has sat on the city council before. He said that he wanted to see a change in City Hall. I would like to know what he means by a change in City Hall. Yes, Mr. Vasquez has sat on many of the entities here in Grandfalls. He sat on the water board. He was not reelected. He ran for that. He was not reelected. He sat on the school board. He was not reelected there. He ran here. He sat on the city council and then was gotten off of there. So I don't understand what we are doing in City Hall that makes him feel like he needs to make a change here. And also, Mr. Vasquez sat on the EDC board, and he said they threw him off. No, Mr. Vasquez, my understanding, and I was in there that day that this happened, they did away with that whole board because of the bickering and the name calling and the cooperation of that council with the city council. And no matter how it's put, the city council is the controlling hand over the EDC boards. And that's everywhere, unless you're a big town. Now, and this is another thing I have explained to y'all, tried to explain. An EDC board in Monahans, Fort Stockton, they're a total different entity than what your city council is or what your city is. But they still have to report to the city council. The difference is that EDC board, the president and the administrator, which was like I'm the chief administrator, they get paid a salary for doing what they do with the EDC boards. That's because they can afford stuff like that. And so, Mr. Vasquez, I don't quite understand why you wanted to use the word throw you off, because you were not thrown off. You were let go just like the whole board was because of the bickering and the fighting. And we do have that in the minutes of the city council meeting, which if Monica you want to see, I can show them to you. My next person to address is Mike Karnes. Mr. Karnes, I don't know you very well. I know you've came into our office for different reasons about your bills, and I know where you live. Most people, I don't know if they know you, but you do live over in Bowden's Trailer Park. You said you wanted to change the way the town is run. You don't like it. Well, have you ever come into this office and said to Margot and myself, I don't like what y'all are doing. Can you explain it to me? No, sir, you have never come in to let us even work with you on whatever the problem is that you think we have here. So you should give us a chance instead of going around saying you just don't like the way things are run. Because, you know, I don't like the way things are done in places either, but I ask for answers before I put the cart in front of the horse. So let's try to, you know, whoever is elected to the board, I'm hoping that I'm still here to work with y'all. I want to work with y'all. I love this job, this community. It means a lot to me. And I want it to thrive. I want it to grow. I want it to be able to, for the kids, our kids that are coming up, I want them to have a place to be. call home, like we all have a place to call home. So I think some of us older people that do not like change are going to have to step back and say, it's time that the younger generation steps up to the plate. Let's see what you can do. We've had our time here. Let's see if you can make the better changes. Let's see if you can make this a better town to live in.